Hello friends, welcome to my channel. So today I'm gonna be talking, and as this is my first video, so I'll be just like talking about top 10 things that we can do in our daily life that could make a big difference and help us in healthy aging, or us to age in a healthy way. So let's start with the first most important thing, and that is our diet and nutrition, like our food. So you've always heard this, that you are what you eat, or food is a medicine, and it is so true. Because if we put nutrient rich, like healthy foods in our body, you will see the effects, and you will see that your body would respond in a very positive way to that. And that also is the same as when we age. So in order to make sure that we age in like the best possible way, where our bodies stay healthy and strong, we should also provide the right fuel to our body to make sure that we are make sure the engine of our body is running well on good fuel, right? And so the good fuel is in the form of food. And food is such an important thing that is neglected by a lot of people, especially when we're young. We think that, whatever, who cares? Like, we'll deal with it when we're older. But food has such a strong impact on how all the systems in our body work. And there's this thing called this gut brain barrier, and which is talked about, but it's actually very true, because our gut is directly related to our brain, and so whatever we eat impacts how our brain functions as well. So like any foods that cause a lot of inflammation in our body not only affects our stomach in a bad way, our intestines, but it also affects our brain and also many other organs in our body. And especially now, we've been hearing a lot about cancer, that a lot of cancers are related to inflammation, and inflammation a lot comes from the kind of food we eat. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the best diet that's out there right now, and then on a later video I'm going to go in depth about what we can do right now and how we can completely change our diet and lifestyle that will help us help us for a long time. So the best diet that the research has proven right now for healthy aging and for a healthy mind and kind of slow the progress of dementia is the Mediterranean diet. So the Mediterranean diet is basically a diet that includes a lot of omega-3s in the form of fish. And so salmon is like a really good example of a fish which is very high in omega-3s, but many other fish, like whatever you have available near your house, is a good start including seafood, and especially like fish in our diet. And also a lot of nuts, a lot of seeds, a lot of grains, whole grains, legumes, which could be like lentils and like different other kinds of, and also beans like fava beans, chickpeas, kidney beans, like all different kind of beans. So it's not that hard. It's all the food that's easily accessible to us, and just kind of including that in our diet. And the biggest component is leafy greens. So like spinach and kale and chard and like lettuce, like all kind of leafy greens. They add not only just fiber but a lot of nutrient to our diets. So by changing once a week to saying we're going to eat fish once a week could make a huge impact in our mental health as well, like in our brain health, as well. So that's one thing. That's what research has shown, and it actually has shown that like having a very predominantly vegetarian diet, where you eat a lot more vegetables and you consume protein in either the form of the seafood fish, or protein is consumed through beans and lentils and stuff, has considered to be the best. So that is considered to be the best diet of all of that's available out there right now. And like some research has shown that it could increase your lifespan to about 5 extra years, which is a big deal. So the second most important thing is exercise, like physical exercise. Exercise is, I think, the best thing that you could do to your body, like moving your body. It doesn't have to be going to a gym or getting a membership for the gym. It literally means just getting out of the house and walking for 30 minutes. If you can go outside, go to a mall, and if it's cold outside, go to a mall and walk inside for 30 minutes. Walk around your house, and you're like, anything that you can do, just make sure your body is moving. And if you move your body 30 minutes a day for at least 4 to 5 days a week, it could have a very, very beneficial effect in us and aging in a very healthy way. And also, like, it's just in our overall mental health as well. And later in another episode, I will talk a lot about what kind of exercises are the best and how we can introduce strength training exercises in our daily life to help make sure that our muscles are stronger and our joints are well supported, especially as we age. So the third most important thing is mental exercise. So what is mental exercise? Like, so our brain is a muscle and we need to use our muscles, like how, you know, how we hear that either you use it or you lose. It's like a true saying, basically, because it is true for our physical, like body muscles, as well as our brain. So how can we keep our brain active? And there are many ways to do that. So like the most simplest thing would be, okay, so to do brain exercises in the form of crossword puzzles or Sudoku or number puzzles, and anything that like kind of challenges you to think. A lot of games are good, like chess, bridge, a lot of other different type of card games could be very beneficial in keeping our brains active and kind of challenging our brain. Another really good thing is learning a new skill. So learning a new skill opens these different, I would say, like, for example, like networks, you could call it, in our brain that helps in the progression of dementia for a lot of us. And it doesn't need to like happen when you're older. You can start it as early as can to learn a new skill. It could be learning a new language, learning a new sport, taking a class in something that you've always been interested in. And so any kind of new skill set that you can learn helps in your like keeping your brain active for a very long time as well. And so now, also one thing quickly is that there's also a lot of online memory games that are available, and I'm going to do another whole episode where I'll talk about what are the best online memory games that are basically free and that you could do while on your phone or while you're like somewhere else where you have not like where you don't have much access to other things that you could do and just keep your brain active. Luminosity is one of the biggest one, but we'll talk more about it. Okay, so then with the brain activity, also there's something which is related to it, which is also the fourth important thing, is to find a hobby, a passion, something that you're really interested in. And it could be anything. Like for some people, it could be they've always wanted to paint and they never got the time. So like maybe going to a painting class or just getting a paper and some paints and starting painting. It could be habit of reading again, and maybe joining a book club and start reading new different kind of books. It could be learning a new sport like tennis, squash, table tennis, like any kind of sport, golf. And also it could be like starting a class or joining an adult education online class. There's so many free classes online that are available that you could do it from your home. And so basically finding a hobby, passion, and sticking to it, and could also really help us age well, because you find you find something and you have something to look forward to do in a day, which is apart from your like regular routine, and that helps you feel happier in the whole. So that's the fourth most important thing. The fifth thing I think is social interaction. So you can see that all of this is very interconnected, like they're all connected to each other. All these things that help us age in a healthy way are all very intertwined with each other. So the fifth most important thing, like I said, is social interaction. And social interaction, I think, is a very, very important thing that we need to start working on if you're not socially active. It doesn't mean that, you know what, I'm sitting in my home watching a lot of shows on the TV and watching our like online playing games or video games. Like that is not social interaction. Social interaction where you're having a conversation with somebody who's sitting either opposite to you in like on a screen or physically, and you're having a conversation with them. So like, for example, calling a friend, like saying, hey, let's go for a walk together, which will also help you get out of the house and also may give you this aspect of social interaction where you're chatting with somebody else and talking about different things. It could also be take part in a book club, right? That could be your hobby or passion, plus you you're interacting socially with people. For people who want to go to like a church, a mosque, a synagogue, or any other religious center, going there, taking part in activities like volunteering and being socially active. It could also be in the form of community centers. Like community centers have lots of programs for adults or people of all ages, right? So like joining one of the programs which will force you to get outside and interact with people, because this like it seems like, oh, like what's the big deal, but it actually is so important and helps us a lot, and helps our brain a lot, and helps delay the progress of dementia or any kind of cognitive issues, because it just makes you overall like just a happier person. And it also kind of forces you to get outside of your comfort zone, get out of your house and meet people. And it could also, like, if you live and you're lucky enough to be living among friends or relatives, then like plan meeting each other like once every few days, and like go to your relative's house, go to your friend's house and hang out. And it's going to improve your life significantly. So that would be like the fifth most important thing. The sixth most important thing, So the sixth most important thing I would talk about is sleep. So sleep is, actually I recently figured that out. So I didn't know that sleep was this important till I heard this researcher, and I will let you know more in detail in my one video that will be just about sleep, of how important sleep is. So it's basically like less sleep equals to a smaller lifespan, and it is that important. So an average adult should sleep at least 7 hours, should get at least 7 hours of sleep. And what happens is that even if you're such good with like having your sleep patterns in like a certain way, and then like one day you don't sleep well, you say you have a 4-hour sleep, the next day your the fighter cells in your body, like there's like a 80 or 70% drop in your natural killer cells, which are the cells in our body that fight against the cancer cells, or like fight against like the inflammation. So you can see like the effect that sleep has on not just our mental health, but also on our physical health, and on disease progression. Like, so we have to make sure that we sleep well. We could use different techniques. If you are somebody who struggles from having a good night's sleep, then we could use different techniques and ways to make sure that you have a good night's sleep every night. And there's like 3 important things that I'm just going to say out right now, which if we could just do it in our life could actually really help. One is stop eating 3 hours before sleep. So do not eat 3 hours before sleep. Stop drinking water at least a few hours before sleep, and no screen. So do not put your face in front of a screen at least an hour before you sleep. And even if you are, and say for some reason you have to, make sure you wear blue light glasses, because that will protect and help you sleep well. But I would really suggest having no screen in front of your face, and make sure your phone is far away from your bedside table, or you charge your phone somewhere else, and that is not the first thing you look at it. Like, phone shouldn't be the first thing you look when you wake up, or the last thing you see when you sleep. So just FYI, those are a few tips, and then we'll go and talk more about detail about what we can do to have a better and healthier sleep. Okay, so that was the 6th thing. The 7th thing I would quickly talk about, which is connected to sleep, is mindfulness and meditation. So in the past, like growing up, mindfulness and meditation wasn't considered a big thing. It wasn't considered something to do. It was like, oh, like monks meditate, or like some people do, but like it's not for us. But lately, and you've probably have been hearing this everywhere, that mindfulness and meditation are one of the biggest things that can help us de-stress and like live a wholesome kind of life. And and now scientifically it has been proven that meditation promotes healthy aging and delays the onset of dementia, which is a huge thing, right? So what can we do? It is something that is such an easy thing to do. All you need to start meditating you need a comfortable place. You don't need any fancy app. You don't need anything. All you need is a comfortable place to sit, to take a few deep breaths, and you could start with just 5 minutes, and slow down your thought process, slow down the thoughts that come in your mind, and you just like focus on your breathing, and just like empty your brain. And you don't have to actively think of something, but if thoughts are coming in your mind, you can acknowledge them and then let them go. And just doing that, like start with 5 minutes a day, and it is crazy how research has proven that to be so beneficial in reducing dementia, in increasing our attention span, in promoting a healthy kind of like a lifestyle, healthy behavior, in even in kids. And also what it does, it also improves, helps like keep our cognition intact for a long time. And also it basically reduces anxiety, stress, depression, and etc etc. So basically it promotes our overall good health in a long way. And also same as meditation, mindfulness is very similar to meditation, or mindful meditation is something which is almost like they're interconnected, they're almost the same. And just doing them and making them a routine, a habit every single day is gonna do really good for us, and like all of us. And I'm guilty. Like I always think that I'm gonna do it, and I end up like finding so many excuses of not doing it. So I'm gonna start doing it again after reading, and I'll do a whole another video on it where we'll talk about what we can do and how we can start together. Okay, so that was the seventh thing. The eighth most important thing I would talk about would be gratitude. So was it the seventh or the eighth? I don't know. So the gratitude, being grateful. Being grateful is just something that we should all do every single day when we get up. So making gratitude as your practice every single day when you get up and before you go to sleep can do can have a huge impact in how you live your life every day. And research has shown that gratitude makes you live longer, and it has been proven now in medical research as well. So we have to understand this, that why is this, like why is gratitude so important? So like when you are grateful for what you have, for what you've been blessed with, then you live a very happy life because you accept what you have and you are more willing to give back. And that like leads to this like the life that is full of like thankfulness and gratitude for all like your blessings. Like yes, some people have some more stuff, some people have love stuff, some people are suffering from certain health issues, some are not. But if we find gratitude in where we are at right now and be grateful every single day, it will 100% help us live a longer, healthier life and help us keep our bodies and our brain active and happy, and keep us happy. And happiness is big. And also you will be a happier person for other people to be around, and you will pass it along, and you will pass it along in your daily life to other people. So I could recommend some little things like journaling, like starting your day with, okay, what are the three things that I'm grateful for? There's this journal called 5-Minute Journal that I use, and I've been using it for almost a few years now, and has helped me a lot. And the day I don't use it, I am not the best person to be around, because it literally changes the way how my day goes. And it's something very small, like talking about 3 things that you're grateful for in the morning, when you wake up, like, and at the end of the day, what were the 3 best things that happened to you that day? And just being grateful about this is tremendous. And so the ninth most important thing is supplementation. So what supplements to take? There are so many out there. There are a few that I really think are great based on research. One is that for gut health, pre or probiotic. That is something that's great to take empty stomach in the morning. The other thing would be omega-3s, which are really good for our brain. Any kind of multivitamin, if you're taking, keep taking it. Vitamin D, especially if you live in a country where you don't get enough sunlight, vitamin D is very important and also helps boost up our immunity, same as vitamin C. So those are a few of the supplements, and then we'll do another detailed video about supplementation and their impact on our life, and help us in age in a healthy way. And last but not the least, the 10th is having a regular visit to your doctor. So make sure that you are up to date on your visit to your doctor, your annual health checkup, or your monthly or physical, your annual physical or your checkups, and kind of like stay in touch with what's your body doing and what your doctor is recommending, and be proactive about it, because it's better. Prevention is better than cure. And if there are certain things, if there are certain changes in our blood levels or something that we're finding out, it's better to take care of that before it becomes a big problem. So yes, that's it for today. I think I talked a lot. I'm trying to see how big this video is, and then we'll figure it out. But I'm very passionate about this, and I'm very excited to share all this with you. And in the future, I'm going to break it down, all these 10 big things, into each video, each thing into a video, and then we're going to talk in detail and in depth about each of them. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.